Hey everyone, welcome back to another energy forecast for the month. Today we're looking at July, and if you catch this in July, this energy, hopefully this helps you. And actually, whenever you get this, I hope it helps you. But you may get it in the months ahead, or you might have already surfed through it. So stay tuned with me and let's get into it. All right, guys. So July was pretty thick, and this might be a short video because the biggest message is big intuition sensing energy. Okay, so if you haven't practiced developing your intuition, now is the month to get onto that bandwagon or get on that boat because now we are in energy of really what I witnessed was history in the making. Now, some of you can say, "Well, we're always creating history." Well, sure, yeah, we are. And this is going to be something that is happening collectively where we're as a collective witnessing history in the making. So it's on the stage, basically. So some of you might think that I'm talking about the political environment, but if you recall in other videos, I actually talk about how systems of all sorts of natures are going to be falling apart and breaking apart. So I suggested in previous videos that you want to get your systems, those smaller systems, at a higher functioning, just in a higher functioning way. And so, what that can mean is your immune system. That can also mean your friendships, your family. The smaller systems, is what's going to bring the big picture to fruition. And so, it kind of takes me back to that one phrasing, be the change in the world that you choose to seek, or whatever it is. I hope I said it right. And then also, like, my favorite, even though this is controversial, is the Man in the Mirror lyrics. If you want to make a, what is it? If you want to make a world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make the change. So this is that time. This is that year where it's challenging you to say, okay, something's not working in my body. Maybe I'm getting sick more often. Okay, so what can I do? Well, start looking at how to improve your immune system. You know what? My family isn't doing too well. I wonder how we can start working as a team together. The more we start looking at ourselves, improving our being, improving our systems, work systems, all of that, the better the systems overall start to come together. Right now, what we've been used to is top down, and now we're moving into an energy where we all create the togetherness. We all create the collective. And people are going to be starting to become aware of that more and more. So this month is big intuition sensing. So where do you begin with that, right? So you begin with observing what your neutral state is. What is your neutral state? What do you mean by that? Well, when you're centered, when you're calm, when your emotions aren't going up and down and all over the place, when your mind is not taking over. So, what am I going to say? Practice meditation. Coming from a background of hypnotherapy and meditation, it's a practice in and of its own. You're not going to get it right off the bat, but I bet you're overthinking the process. So many people that I work with overthink it. And it can be a truly beautiful practice and art form to look at how is my mind the one in control, and how can I get it to start working with me rather than against me. So big intuition sensing goes along with observing how am I responding to my environment. And I've talked about this before, but this is really big considering the vision that I had, that we're going to be in the collective is going to be in a movie theater watching a whole new documentary getting played out right in front of us. What I witnessed in this theater is that I started seeing bubbles of thoughts coming up and people's expressions. And people are going to be questioning, wait, what am I witnessing? What am I witnessing? Does this make sense? And so I see a lot of confusion, but coming from that is thought. And that's really important because sometimes we can get so absorbed or so gung ho on somebody's speech or somebody's verbiage or whatever. We can get locked in and we can get sold on something that we're not really sure if it was the right choice. simply because we're excited and we're not getting to that neutral state. And so we're like, yeah, that sounds right. That's, and not even think, right? Some of us can do that in certain scenarios, whatever that is. And so it's really important to understand that if you're starting to have these questions, if you're starting to feel that confusion, to separate, create a little bit of distance so that you can start to assess, how am I really feeling about this? I'm turning my page. So how am I really feeling about this, right? Some I witnessed in this vision that they're gonna feel like they can't stomach this because it doesn't align with their individual morals and values. And so that leads me to ask you, have you ever checked in with what are your morals and values? Not necessarily what our parents gave us, our village gave us, village being like it takes a village to raise children type of thing, like none of that, but really looking at, how do I want to be treated from people, and what do I think is of value to me? Have you really assessed that? And then looking at how the groups am I a part of align with that, how those conversations are, how what's even being said on the TV aligns with that. Does this feel right? So what you also may notice is that individuals are emotionally checking out. They're like, you know what, this just isn't right anymore. And I think I said it earlier, is that they might not be able to stomach it. And so what I encourage you to do is, again, just be a witness to how you're feeling. Do you have to get up and walk away because it's just not making sense in your world anymore? And even, yeah, I see people just wanting to get up and walk out of that theater, right? And just really looking at, I don't know if I can believe this anymore. And that's something that was really big in this when I started writing about it, is that I feel like I see people saying, I don't know if I can get on board with this. I had reading one-on-one sessions with clients, and so many times and so often the visions that came to me were history books being pulled off the shelves, getting tossed back into the ocean, like just completely wiping away libraries that had, issues that they no longer want to have in books. So how that actually is going to come to form, I'm not trying to create conspiracy. That is just a metaphor. So we've got to make sure that we are aware of that I'm talking metaphorically, but perhaps it could look like that in some cases. So consider, when you're thinking about history documentaries, right, you are having a level of separation, right? So you're kind of like, well, that was in the past. Can you do that? Have that same mentality with what you're witnessing on TV that's happening in live time? Can you say, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense? Like, how can you have a level of separation and kind of look at, how did that even make sense at that one time? And then apply it to, like, wait a minute, this is actually happening in real time. If that's happening in real time, what can I do about it? How did we get here? How did we get here? And that's what a lot of people aren't asking, is the hows, are the whys, okay? So that's going to be really important moving ahead throughout the next 6 months, because we're at the halfway point of the year, and I'm seeing just 6 months ahead a lot of questions, okay, a lot of curiosity, and I even see an uptick in conspiracy thinking. And to each his own, whatever, but also be responsible for those thoughts and recognize, am I creating more propaganda? Am I creating more drama? Let's chunk this down to what's really going on, okay? What is really being portrayed out there, whether it is within the family, whether it's within our own selves, like our own thoughts. Are our own thoughts influencing us? Like, for instance, somebody just today talked to me about how they've created a little bit of a story in their head, and they're not even sure if it's right. So they're not even going to take it seriously, because it's just their thoughts, and they don't really know if that's factual. So instead of allowing their emotions to upset them and allowing their thoughts to upset their emotions, they're just going to see and just observe, like, well, okay, if that is true, then let it be, and just kind of bring more peace into their lives. And that's what they told me, and that's exactly how we want to think about this, is how do our emotions impact our thinking, and how our thoughts impacting our emotions, And that is so important with the intuition sensing, because you might be thinking that you can really read a situation, but are you reading yourself? So if you don't even know what your energy is at a flat line, do you know how you are impacting situations, conversations when your energy is going? So that is just something to really look at and consider. I'm looking at my notes to see where I'm at with this, so I wanted to write this down. Really tune into the self. The biggest thing also that I'm going to say, not the biggest, but a big thing is I want you to get aligned with your values. And what I mean by alignment with your values is to really write those down. Are you a person that wants integrity in your relationships? Or does dishonesty make you, like, how does it make you feel? But are you even honest with yourself? So we've got to really start looking at the layers and levels of even honesty, integrity within our being. And are we aligning with individuals that are of that same caliber? Maybe we're not, and that's just a bigger conversation in and of its own. But it's something to start assessing, because you might have a perspective, and that's really all life is a perspective of things, right? And I brought it very simplistic, I can't even think or speak, I should say, but you get what I'm saying. Simplistic. I oversimplified it, that life is that. And we want to make sure that our perceptions are aligned in reality, because everybody has their viewpoint of a situation. And so, does it align with your ethics? Does it align with your values? Does it align with your morals? Whatnot? But do you even know what those are? So get in tune with that, and that'll help you with your intuition sensing. This is a big month for that, or a big energy. And again, as I've talked about, energy is like a wave. So how the ocean sucks it back, and then it gets ready to bring the wave forward. So where are you in that wave of energy moving forward? So some of you might be getting that and you're getting like washed up like really fast. Some of you are at the very beginning and we're coming back and we're assessing, we're understanding, we can surf it. So it just depends. So anyways, I hope this all resonates with you. I look forward to touching back in August. So take care, everybody. Bye for now.